Hi, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Going Digital, the podcast where we dive into the digitalization of youth work. This series is part of the Digital Transformation of Inclusive Youth Work project, co-financed by the Erasmus Plus program. In this episode, we will talk about some of the major outputs from Work Package 2, like the strategy and action plans for the digital transformation of youth NGOs. My name is Alma, and I work for one of the partner organizations on this project, Youth Power Sweden. Joining me today is Elena, an educator and the founder of a small NGO in Sweden called Yes for Tomorrow. She's been very involved in this project and we're excited to have her here. Welcome, Elena.
Hi, Alma. Thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited to chat about all this.
So glad you could join us today. And to start off, could you tell us a bit about your organization, Yes for Tomorrow, and what inspired you to found your organization?
Absolutely. Yes for Tomorrow is all about empowering young people to take charge of their futures. We focus on education, leadership, and now with all the changes happening, digital inclusion. I started it because I saw a gap in opportunities for youth, especially in underserved and migrant communities. And I wanted to create a platform where they could develop skills and have their voices heard.
That's fantastic. So you have been really involved with this project, especially with the strategy and action plans. You have been in charge of kind of like reviewing the strategy when it was done. So can you tell us about your experience with that task and uh, like in general, what do you think about those outputs?
Yeah, for sure. Being a part of the review process allowed me to see the bigger picture of how digital transformation can benefit youth work across the board. The strategy is about tackling current challenges like limited resources and different levels of digital know how, and it offers practical, doable solutions for NGOs of practically all sizes.
That really sounds like a big task. Like, are there some key insights that you gained from the process?
Well, one big takeaway was that digital transformation isn't just about technology, it's also about mindset. And we realized that for NGOs to successfully go digital, there needs to be a cultural shift within the organization. So everyone from leadership to volunteers needs to be on board and see the value in integrating these digital tools into their work.
That's a really good point. And I know that Youth Power helped to create an action plan specifically for your NGO. And like, can you tell us more about how that collaboration came about?
Yeah, so after the strategy review, Youth Power reached out to help us develop a tailored action plan for Yes for Tomorrow. So we did a deep dive into our current operations and identified areas where digital tools could really make some impact and set out a step by step plan to implement those changes.
That sounds really awesome. Like, can you give us some example of something in the action plan that you have been really excited about?
Sure. One thing that we are implementing is the use of digital tools to make our daily operations run smoother. As a newly established NGO, being practical and efficient is really crucial for us. So the action plan introduced us to project management software and other platforms that save us so much time. For example, we're using tools like Trello for task management and Google Workspace for real-time collaboration. So it's made coordinating with our team so much easier and allows us to focus more on our programs.
That really sounds like a game changer, especially for NGOs that have like limited resources. To switch up the topics a little bit, You also co-organized Let's Do Digital seminar in Sweden. So can you tell us more about that experience also?
Hosting the Let's Do Digital seminar was such a great experience. We started with a quick intro about the project, then moved into presentations on the digital transformation strategy and action plans for NGOs. What I loved most was how interactive it was. Everyone was really engaged, asking questions, and really interested into how they could apply these ideas in their own organizations.
Do you have any, I would say, like memorable moments from the seminar that you would like to share?
For sure. One of the most memorable moments was during the open discussion. So people started sharing their own stories about implementing digital tools in their NGOs, and it turned into a really great exchange of ideas. It really showed how much potential there is when you combine youth work with digital innovation.
That sounds really inspiring. You also helped with the organization of our conference on this project called Digital Education for Inclusive Youth Work in Malmo. And can you tell us like how did that come together?
Yeah, that was another big activity within this project. Organizing the Digital Education for Inclusive Youth Work Conference in Malmo was an incredible experience. We held it with support from Gota 10 or Gota 10 in Swedish. The conference brought together educators, youth workers, and professionals to explore 5 innovative educational programs developed on this project. Even the project coordinator, the representative from Udruga B Croatia, joined us at the conference. It all came together through a lot of teamwork and a shared passion for empowering youth in the digital age.
Do you have some highlights from the conference that you would like to share?
Oh, there were so many key takeaways. It's really hard to choose. I think the main one, though, is that participants left feeling inspired and equipped with digital and practical strategies to implement in their own work. It was amazing to see that everyone is so motivated to make a real difference.
That really sounds like it sounds important, especially in these days in this environment. And I remember because I was also there for the conference, I remember that some of the participants were also from the NGO sector and they were asking like if there is a potential for future cooperation between our organizations also and between with your organization. So it really had, I would say that conference had an impact for participants also. Uh, and looking on all of these experiences, like on all of these outputs, from the strategy to action plans to seminar to conference, how do you think they impacted your organization? Yes, for tomorrow.
Honestly, it's been transformative. We've not only upgraded our own digital capabilities, but also become a resource for other NGOs looking to do the same. It's expanded our network and opened up new opportunities for collaboration, as you mentioned as well.
Yes, it's really great to hear. For other small NGOs that are listening, or maybe youth workers that even want to open up their own NGOs or start their own independent projects in a group, maybe. What advice could you give them? And especially, what advice could you give them if they are starting their own digital transformation journey?
I'd say start small and don't be afraid to experiment. Digital transformation can sound like some term that is hard to understand, but even integrating one new tool or platform can make a big difference. Also, I'd say involve your team and the youth you work with. They often have great ideas and can help drive the change.
It really sounds like a great advice. And before we wrap up, is there anything else that you would like to share with our listeners?
Just that embracing digital doesn't mean losing the personal touch that makes youth work special. It's about reaching more people in meaningful ways. So I encourage everyone to take that first step.
That those are like really wise words, Elena. And I want to thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your insights regarding this project and the output.
Thanks for having me, Elma. It's been a pleasure.
And thank you for all of our listeners out there. This has been the first episode of Going Digital podcast, and stay tuned for our next episode where we will explore our innovative education programs for on-site and online training. Until then, I guess let's go digital together.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.